What is the law on drones in Nevada? Hey guys, my name is Anthony Bandiero, bringing you to the Roadside Chat. All right, so this question actually comes from an officer in Lovelock Colony Police Department in Nevada. He says, hey, let's say there is a meth lab in your jurisdiction. You fly a drone for a different legal purpose unrelated to the meth lab. As you're flying the drone, you happen to capture footage of the meth lab. Can that be used for a search warrant? All right, and the officer thanks me for my videos, and I'm glad that we're helping here. So, look, so there's when it comes to drone law, we got to look at basically three things. We got to look at the Constitution, and right now, generally speaking, we can really get into this, but generally speaking, the way I teach drone law is that they are kind of on par with helicopters, right? I know they're not one for one, right? Helicopters are expensive, and they're obviously like you can see them. There's not too many of them, relatively speaking, when it comes to law enforcement. Only a few big cities, only the big cities have them for the most part. And then you have, federal law, right? You can't fly them over people's heads. They have to be line of sight, and there's a 400-foot rule. So we want to comply with that. And then you have state law. State law is really where the action is because states are trying to fill the void left by either the Constitution, because helicopters, there's not a lot of case law on helicopters, or by the federal law, which is kind of silent about using drones to look in people's backyards and so forth. So here's an example. We have a law in Nevada that says NRS 493.11112 about unmanned aerial vehicles, right? Operation by law enforcement. And here's some highlights. It says that a law enforcement agency shall not operate an unmanned aerial vehicle for the purpose of gathering evidence or other information within the curtilage of a residence, right? So curtilage is that area around the home, like the backyard and so forth, or at any other location where the person has a reasonable expectation of privacy. So think about, inside a business where the public is not allowed to be, right? Looking into the windows of a home, these kind of places, right? So unless the law enforcement agency first obtains a warrant. All right, so there's some exceptions. Exception include exigent circumstances, written consent by the property owner, search and rescue operations, imminent threat exists to life or safety of an individual, the public at large. That's kind of sounds like exigent circumstances, but they're being more specific. A declaration of an emergency or disaster by the governor. Those are all exceptions that you can deploy the drone, right? So some cops have asked me, Anthony, can we use the drone if we have hot pursuit, if people are trying to escape from law enforcement? The answer is yes, because that falls under exigent circumstances. Now, if you don't have one of those exceptions, and you use the drone to see things in a place where a person has a reasonable expectation of privacy or the curtilage, what's the consequence? It says right here that the evidence, the video, photographs, sound, I'm sure, if you have sound, cannot be admissible in any court, right? And also may not be used to establish reasonable suspicion or probable cause to investigate a crime. Going back to my officer's question, though, the question was, what about if it was inadvertent? This law seems to require that the law enforcement agency is doing it intentionally, right? Shall not operate a drone for the purpose of gathering evidence or other information within the curtilage of the home or areas of privacy. So what about the inadvertent views? It seems like there's a good argument there, right? That if they happen to be inadvertent and the purpose of the drone was lawful, and the court believes that, right? The court does not believe that the cop was being kind of shady about it. Oh, Your Honor, we were just looking at some telephone lines, or telephone poles, like that type of, if you had to wink or do quotation marks, you're probably not doing the right thing. So that the court believed that, there's an argument that that's outside the scope of this law. I also can see the opposite, where the court says, look, even though you had another lawful purpose, these people still have an expectation of privacy, and we can't use any footage. I don't know what the courts are going to do here. We're going to have to decide that. So I wish I had a better answer for you. I will tell you that the better argument for me is the one that if it's inadvertent and it's credible, the cops were not trying to play loose and fast with the rules that the evidence should come in, right? That falls under plain view. All right, but that's what I have for you. I hope it helps at least a little bit. I'll put this law in the description below. Please keep the questions coming. Until next time, my friends, stay safe.